Hi guys, Tomor here, and today I was in a nearby city, Sandnes, and I did a talk about my experience with psychiatry and how I got through it, basically, how I came to understand my schizophrenia, and beyond that, how I have been able to stabilize myself and heal myself from self, basically, from within myself, from self-forgiveness, basically. So I want to talk about some of the perspectives, some of what I talked about today in the school for the college, Høgskolen in Sandnes, and so what I talked about was my past relationship to addiction, mainly to addictives like alcohol and weed, hashes, and how I got through that, how I ended that, basically. Because, like we know, when we use alcohol or drugs or other things to medicate ourselves, to suppress the burden, the trauma, the drama, to suppress what we don't want to see, what we don't want to face about ourselves, about our pasts mainly. We use drugs to medicate ourselves into a better reality, an alternate reality that is basically an imaginative, dream world of drugs that is not real, that is just an escape, and often leads to addiction and suffering, more suffering. So what I find, the very essence of this is that I find is that when we are in that inferior little position of being in need of medication, being in need of suppressing something about ourselves that we don't like, something about ourselves that we want to hide from and run away from and drug and drink or pray to God or think positive about ourselves or the world or whatever. We want to escape from that negative part of self, that bad memory of ourselves. And at that point, we are then living in those memories. We are hiding within ourselves. And seeing only our emotions, seeing only the bad words from the memories. We see only and we attach and addict to the bad words from the memories. We attach to and cling on to, from mind systems, to the bad memory emotions and the words from the memory. We cling on to the negative emotional words from the memory, and that is from that position we want to medicate, we want to run away, we want to hide and suppress and fly away, basically, from that. So what I've come to learn from walking my life process with destiny, the tools provided by destiny, self-forgiveness, writing, self-honesty, self-responsibility, and so on, self-correction, is that I must look into those memories where I am so inferior, where I am so low down and sick within myself that I need to medicate, that I would feel the need to run away, to hide, to addict, to run away from my trauma, my emotions, and open up those memories in great detail, in honesty to myself, and pen and paper with myself, or document, or spoken words, or write it out anyways. You need to write it out to have a clear overview of what went on, because often it is very well suppressed and very well denied within self. So open up memories and forgive all that is there, all the energies, all the systems, all the mind systems that are in that memory. Forgive it all in great detail from within the self, and then find new words to live instead of the emotional trauma, bad words that we would feel we need to medicate away from. From being in that inferior, hiding position, being in that inferior, hiding, low, belittled, emotional, depressed position and within ourselves, where we just surround ourselves with monsters and trolls of our own. We surround ourselves with the monsters we self have created within our minds from the memories from our past. And all these trolls, all these monsters, we need to write out in great detail and understand. Because if we cannot understand them, we cannot change. We need to understand even the most hideous parts of ourselves to be able to change ourselves. So this is some of what I talked about at Högskolan in Sandnes today, about self-forgiveness, about changing my words, changing the emotional, burdensome emotional words where from I needed to medicate with drugs and alcohol and positivity and religion and arts and all that, where I needed all that stuff to medicate, instead of looking into myself, intimacy, and forgiving it, and just embracing myself and accepting myself, and then picking up new words to live instead of attaching to the old memories, the old tripping wires, the old emotions. Because once I have forgiven in great detail the emotions, the trauma, the drama, the pain, the sickness, once I have forgiven all that in great detail, then I can move in and live living words. I can find a word. And today, in high school in Sandnes, I used the word stability, which was a very good word for me to balance myself with today. So, living words and self-forgiveness and self-honesty are some very, very fine tools if you really want to work on yourself, your process, and your well-being, on your responsibility, your integrity in this life. It is the real deal of healing, the real deal of it's the best deal there is, basically. And it can be tough to face all the bad, negative parts of self and forgive all that and change all that. But after that feeling, after you've changed and when you realize you've changed, when you realize that you can actually heal for real, you can change, it's possible to change, that experience and that awareness is just incredible. It is immense, and it is, brilliant. It is ridiculously cool. So consider self-forgiveness, consider understanding, consider change, consider self-honesty, consider living words. Consider this.